The King and the Maiden. Once upon a time, one mighty and capable king went to the forest to hunt with his courtiers. On the way, he saw a beautiful maiden and immediately fell in love with her. He paid a lot of money and bought the girl from his master. But after a short time of being with her, the maiden became ill and the king became very sad. He summoned all the skilled physicians to his palace from all over the country to treat her and said, "I'm so attached to her. If she doesn't get well, I'll die with her. Whoever heals my soul, I'll give them lots of gold and pearls." The doctor said, "Each of us is like the Christ the healer. With consciences and all the great resources that we have, we will definitely treat her." The doctors were very proud of their knowledge, but didn't remember God, and so God showed them their helplessness. The doctors tried many different treatments on the maiden, but none of them were effective. So the girl became weaker and weaker, and as lean as a hair strand day by day, and the king wept all day. The king was disappointed with his physicians. One night, he ran into the mosque barefoot and wept at the altar until he became unconscious. After he regained the consciousness, he prayed to God and said, "God, what can I say to you? You know all the secrets in my heart clearly. Oh dear God, you have always supported us, but we've made a mistake one more time." The king was praying with all his heart and soul until he fell asleep and fell himself in the sea of forgiveness and grace of God. In a dream, he saw a wise old man who said, "O king, I'm giving you the good news that God has accepted your prayer. Tomorrow an unknown man will come to your palace. Let him in, because he is a capable and knowledgeable doctor. He knows the cure for every pain. He is honest and has the power of God in his soul." The next morning at sunrise, the king was sitting on the balcony of his palace as an old man appeared from afar. He was like a ray of sun cutting through the darkness of the shadows. He was like a dream, as if he wasn't there, and had the same face as the wise man the king saw in his dream in the mosque. The king went out to welcome him. Although he'd never seen the wise old man before, he looked very familiar, as if they had known each other for years and years and had shared one soul. The king was elated and said, "You have been my true beloved and not the maiden. The maiden was just the means for reaching you." The king then kissed the guest, shook his hand, and guided him into the palace with full honors. After sharing a meal and taking rest, the king took the wise man to the chamber in which the maiden laid and told him the story of her illness. The wise man examined the girl, performed the necessary tests, and said, "All the other doctors' prescriptions were useless. They just made her worse. They had no idea what was wrong with her and only focused on treating her body." The wise man had diagnosed the girl's illness but didn't mention it to the king. The sage had realized that the girl was lovesick and that she didn't have any physical problems. The lover's pain is different from the other pains. Love is the mirror of God's secrets, and the reason is incapable of describing it. Only God knows how to describe love. The wise man then said to the king, "Please leave the palace with all your courtiers. I would like to ask this girl some secret questions that I don't want anyone to hear." Everyone went outside the palace, and the wise old man measured the pulse while patiently asking the girl questions such as, "Where is your city? And who is your friends and relatives?" The girl answered all of the questions. The wise man asked her about different cities she'd lived in. Her pulse was calm until he mentioned Samarkand city. The girl's face turned red and her pulse beat faster. The wise man asked about different neighborhoods of Samarkand. Her pulse beat even faster when he reached to Katfar Ali. He found out that the girl had a special attachment to this alley. He gently asked more and more questions until she revealed the name of a young goldsmith in that alley. She turned yellow, but the wise man said, "I recognized your illness. I'll treat you soon, but in the meantime, don't share your secret with anyone. The secret is like a seed. If you keep it in your heart, it will grow and become a green tree." The wise man came before the king and said, "The solution to this girl's pain is to bring the young goldsmith here from Samarkand by seducing him with gold and money. The girl will heal if she sees him." The king sent 3 of his men to look for the goldsmith. They found him, praised him, and told him that the fame of his mastery has spread everywhere. "Our king has sent you these gifts and gold and invited you to come with us to become his treasurer." The young goldsmith believed the praise of the king's servants and left his city and family with little hesitation. He was not aware that the king had planned to kill him. He mounted an Arabian horse and set off for the palace, delighted with the thoughts of gold and silver awaiting him. Upon reaching the palace, the wise old man welcomed the young goldsmith and took him to the king. The king praised the goldsmith and at once appointed him to be the head of treasury. The wise man implored the king to allow the maiden to marry this young man in order to cure her illness, to which the king agreed, and the two were married at once. The couple spent 6 months in happiness, which allowed the girl to heal completely. Then one day, the wise man poisoned the goldsmith. The young man was getting weaker day by day, and after just a month, all his beauty and freshness had faded away, and his love disappeared from the girl's heart. The loves which are for the sake of a color are not love. In the end, they are disgrace. The young goldsmith was crying blood from both eyes. His handsome face became the enemy of its life, like a peacock whose beautiful plumage is its enemy. The goldsmith wept and said, "I'm like a deer whose blood is shed for its fragrant gland. I'm like the fox whose head gets cut off for the sake of its fur. I'm like the elephant whose life is stolen for the sake of its beauty ivory. O king, you killed me, but know that the world is like a mountain, and our actions are like the shouts. The echo of the shouts will come back to us." He then closed his eyes and died, and the girl was freed from his love, because love of the dead is not enduring. So choose the love of the living that's fresher than a bud in the spirit in every moment. That's the everlasting love. We all have the king, maiden, the wise man, and the goldsmith inside of us. What symbols do these characters represent? Tell us in the comments, and if you like to hear more of Rumi's stories, make sure to hit the subscribe button and notification bell. I'll see you soon!